Today, we dive deep into the extraordinary experience of Michael Lee Hill, a man whose encounters with UFOs over Lake Erie led him to a life-changing meeting with what he claims is an ancient extraterrestrial being from Sumerian history, Marduk, a leader of the Anunnaki. But this is more than just a UFO story. Michael's experiences suggest an ancient connection, one that may tie his ancestry to these powerful beings. How did this ordinary man from Ohio find himself in the presence of an extraterrestrial leader? Could Michael have a link to the Anunnaki bloodline? In 2018, an interviewer by the name of Jeffery Pritchett sat down with Michael Lee Hill and took his account of what occurred in 2008 between himself and what he believed to be Marduk, the king of the Anunnaki. Jeffrey asked Michael,
"Can you share the story of contact you had with an ET intelligence soon after airing your UFO Hunters episode? Who told you they were behind the Lake Erie UFOs you had been filming? And who told you they were known in the past as the Anunnaki?"
Michael would reply,
"Please bear in mind that I had no knowledge of the Anunnaki or anything much to do with the Anunnaki. I had never read any Zecharia Sitchin books or anything like that, so this is written from that viewpoint. Let me explain how this all went down. In the late summer of 2008, my friend who took me on this camping trip had a friend named Loki. I'm not sure if that's how it's spelled, but I know it was pronounced low-key. Loki told me he was going back to a mutual friend's campsite to check and see if everything was okay. So I decided to go with Loki back to the campsite, and that is where it got strange. This campsite had a round gazebo structure that they had named the I Dream of a Genie bottle, because that is what it looked like from the inside. It was a round structure with a round bed inside with beautiful fabrics making up the whole interior. It was very disorienting when you got on the inside. Sometimes I couldn't find the exit. Anyway, Loki and I returned to the campsite and he immediately said, "Some people are waiting to meet you in the genie bottle." It seemed very strange, but I was excited about who it may be. I entered the tent and saw two people lounging on the bed, a male and a female. It was strange that I could not see their faces. I don't know if it was the lighting, but the genie bottle was lit by a few candles so I could see everything up to their necks. However, I could not see their faces. The male asked me to sit down, so I took the beanbag directly in front of the circular couch they were on, and Loki then left the genie bottle. The male asked me to tell a little about myself. He asked me if I had performed any of the rituals going on at the grounds that night. He asked me if I walked the labyrinth, which I didn't, and really had no knowledge of what it even was, and told him so. He then asked me, "Why are you here then? You know what is going on here, right?" I told him I don't buy into any of this ritual stuff. He replied, "That is great. Me neither. Some strange people are doing strange things here, don't you think?" At that point, Loki entered back into the tent and told the male on the couch that I was Michael Lee Hill, the guy who had filmed the Lake Erie UFOs. The male's demeanor changed, and he said, "Have you ever heard of the Coast to Coast radio show?" I said, "Yes, I've been on it." He said, "Recently there was a young man on that radio show named David Sarita who was talking about a testimony from a senior scientist. The senior scientist from Lockheed Martin was called Boyd Bushman. He went on to say, Boyd Bushman's information being released has upset many people, and if I knew anything about this, well, this freaked me out. First of all, that information was released in my movie From Here to Andromeda. I told him, yes, I know something about it. It's in my film. He seemed shocked and asked, who brought this person to me? Some threats were thrown out at me and Boyd, if I remember correctly. This leader figure told me he worked with a group of people who decided what would be released to the public regarding the ET subject, and that he was an actual family member of the J. Allen Hynek family. And this family was still in control of what extraterrestrial-related info is released to the masses on the subject. He went on to tell me that this Boyd Bushman info was not on the list. He went on to say that we had created problems for them behind the scenes, and created a lot of finger-pointing as to how exactly this information was released. He said they were annoyed that this Boyd Bushman was ever made public. When he asked me how this Andromeda DVD came into existence, I told him I manifested it into being, and I thought it was trash that this info was being withheld from humanity. My response seemed to puzzle him greatly. This leader figure then stated, Michael, we need to know what you know. One of them then brought out a wand that looked like a bright purple LED light at the end of it. It seemed to be like a laser pointer. He pointed it directly at my pineal gland/third eye area. They told me they were going to remove some memory blocks. It brought me no pain, and when they finished, I was told by the male leader figure, "I have heard you wanted to meet with me, and I observed you filming our craft flying over Lake Erie." He went on to say, "As A.R. Borden indicated to me, the mental procedures you said to have been exposed to, involving light, etc., are far more commonly used now, and there are other ways besides lie detectors to know whether a person is telling the truth." Well, this mind-probing changed the whole course of the meeting. They went from interrogating me over the Boyd Bushman info to this leader figure becoming very excited, stating, "You are one of us. How did you come to be here?" He began asking others present if they knew how it was I was there sitting in front of him. He regained his composure and said, "We have been waiting for you to surface so we can have a council meeting. We can do that right now if you don't mind." I said, "I have no clue what you are talking about." "A meeting regarding what?" He replied, "It would not be long until there would be another planet visible in our skies, and he wanted to talk about what effect we believed this, and the Anunnaki revealing themselves would have on humanity." I was told that this being I was talking with was the king of the Anunnaki. The actual name of this man was never given, but after all that went down, my guess now is it must be Marduk. They went on to say, "He is what we know today as the Anunnaki, and I am a part of this ruling family." He said that the meeting was great synchronicity, and that I was led there so a meeting could commence between us all over a change in Anunnaki leadership. There would be a new time arriving for mankind, and a new game plan needed to be discussed. The Anunnaki communicated that their leadership kingship list is all based on the precessional cycle. The coming age of Aquarius would also mark a change in how the Anunnaki relate to mankind, along with a change in their leadership. I have learned that for a very long time, the Anunnaki have been preserving and advancing mankind's consciousness and guiding our evolution into the light and higher realms. Anu, father of the Anunnaki, said, "While fates we decreed, the hand of destiny at every step directed, the will of the Creator of all is, on earth and for earthlings, only emissaries are we. The earth to the earthlings belong, to preserve and advance them we were intended." These beings went on to tell me that the precessional period of leadership is now over and the age of Aquarius is to come. They told me that the truth of the situation was that another member of the ruling party of the Anunnaki and I had incarnated into this lifetime as humans, and that we were to be here for these changes. Loki intervened and said, "I have spoken with Michael already. He believes that humanity is ready for open contact, and that humans should have the chance to evolve into a galactic society. They are ready." I then reiterated why the masses were ready for first contact. I told them the same thing I have communicated to you already, Loki. Without bondage to the oil and banking families that have kept the human race in survival mode, humanity would and could reach its true potential. Loki and I teamed up on the Give Humanity a Chance to Show Their Stuff bandwagon. Marduk said, "If that is what you all feel, it must be time. Let's do it. Let's make it so." They agreed they would begin to reveal themselves to the masses. I then said, "When?" He said, "We will begin introducing ourselves before 2012. This was in the summer of 2008. The History Channel began its Ancient Aliens TV show in 2009. Near the end of the meeting, I asked if I could see their faces, and I was told, "No, you will see our faces tomorrow." I was excited because I knew I would meet them again tomorrow. Then he said, "Now we need to talk about the change in Anunnaki leadership. I know it sounds crazy, but if I did not misinterpret what happened, the Anunnaki leadership was somehow connected to me. I have no idea what that means. I have no clue. I still don't know how to process all of this." As we left the genie bottle, Loki walked over to Marduk. He had tears in his eyes. Loki put his arm around Marduk and said in the most loving voice, "Don't worry, now you can finally rest my king." The male Anunnaki leader figure followed me out. I thought, why not? I'm going to take a peek. I took the chance to sneak a peek at his face. First, I noticed that he was wearing a robe emitting some strange light. His face was not human. It looked almost like fire, translucent and wavy. It didn't seem physical. He also had very sculpted features like a gargoyle/human hybrid or something. However, it was a beautiful sight. The next morning I awoke and got out of my tent. I poured some water over my head, and at that exact moment, I noticed a male and female walking by my tent on the dirt road. I instantly knew it was the Anunnaki leader I had seen the previous night, only now he looked very human. He then looked me in the eye and said, "Good morning, Commander Michael." He now had a human appearance. You could still see the same sculpted facial features, but they seemed subdued. He also had the most radiant blue eyes. We spent much of the next day together. He offered to make me dinner, and I took him up on it. The meal was awesome. Lamb with okra and a curry sauce. We talked and I asked him what should be done about the Boyd Bushman info being revealed in the film made by me and David Sarita. He said, "Now that we know you are one of us, they will not be able to touch you, so don't worry about it." That concluded my first meeting with the Anunnaki.
That was Michael Lee Hill's incredible account of his meeting with Marduk and his connection to the Anunnaki. But what do you think? Could Michael really be part of an ancient extraterrestrial bloodline? Is humanity on the verge of a new era guided by these ancient beings? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what you make of this fascinating story. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Michael's experience, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos exploring the unknown. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep questioning the mysteries of the universe.